Hello everyone, and welcome to our Flash Talk, where we are going to be doing a qualitative analysis of our traits. So we wanted to examine how much each of us represents each of the big three traits on a daily basis in comparison to our original big five scores. So we conducted a 10-day daily diary study measuring our daily levels of neuroticism, extroversion, and conscientiousness. And then at the end of the 10 days, we then compared our results to our big five test scores.
The big three includes neuroticism/negative emotionality, extroversion/positive emotionality, and conscientiousness/self-control.
We collaborated to come up with 3 statements that applied to each of the 3 traits on our survey, which can be seen on this slide. Each day, we rated the degree to which we agreed with each statement using 2 different scales. For the first 2 statements of each trait, we rated our answers on a scale from 1 to 5, with 1 indicating that we strongly disagree with the statement and 5 indicating that we strongly agree. And for the last statement of each trait, we rated our answers on a different scale from 1 to 5, with 1 representing a low amount of the given trait and 5 representing a high amount of it throughout the day.
For our results, we first calculated the individual percentage of each trait on a scale from 1 to 100, and then we calculated the percentage of each trait in comparison to the other 2 traits. Out of 100, my individual score for each trait is 60% for neuroticism, 58% for extroversion, and 65% for conscientiousness. In comparison to each other, my score for neuroticism is 33%, my score for extroversion is 31%, and my score for conscientiousness is 36%. Overall, my results indicate that I exhibit higher levels of conscientiousness on a daily basis, followed by neuroticism and then extroversion. After completing the Big 5 test, my results for the Big 3 traits showed that I experienced 41% extroversion, 96% neuroticism, and 87% conscientiousness. These results largely differ from my results from the test we conducted, in which my extroversion score was 58%, my neuroticism score was 60%, and my conscientiousness score was 65%.
So for my result, I got 76.67% of neuroticism and 71.33% of extroversion, and I got 88% of conscientiousness. After 10 days of surveys, I am more of a conscientiousness than neurotic or optimistic, while the result of percentages of conscientiousness is way higher than the other 2 traits. Percentages of neuroticism and extroversion were quite similar. I got 32.49% of neuroticism, and I got 30.23% of extroversion, and I got 37.29% of conscientiousness. Compared to what I got from the official Big 5 test is that I got quite similar results from both my survey and from the Big 5 test. I got 88% of conscientious from my survey, whereas I got 89% of conscientious from the official test. And what I found most surprising is that my extroversion and neuroticism levels were quite unlikely the same as what I got from my survey. So from the official Big 5 test, I got 50% of extroversion and I got 34% of neuroticism.
My results from the daily diary study indicate that my neuroticism and negative emotionality on a scale from 1 to 100 is 40.67%. My extroversion and positive emotionality is 91.33%, and my conscientiousness and self-control is 80.67%. My results indicate that I exhibit the trait of extroversion the most on a daily basis, followed by conscientiousness and then neuroticism. Additionally, in the small box on the bottom of the page, I calculated the amount that each trait makes up my personality relative to the other 2 traits. These calculations showed that my personality, if split into the big 3, is 19.12% neuroticism, 42.95% extroversion, and 37.93% conscientiousness. After taking the Big 5 test we found online, I got the results shown in the bar diagram on this slide. The website indicated that the emotional stability rating is the inverse of neuroticism. With this in mind, I can compare my results from the Big 5 test online with my results from the diary study we created. My score for neuroticism, the opposite of emotional stability, from the Big 5 test is 7%, and my score from our diary study is 40.67%. The study we created yielded a much higher neuroticism score than the online test did. My score for extroversion on the Big 5 test is 93%, and my score from our daily diary study is 91.33%. Lastly, my score for conscientiousness from the Big 5 test is 98%, and my score from our diary study is 80.67%. My scores for extroversion and conscientiousness are much closer between the two tests than my score for neuroticism is.
So with my results, you can definitely see a trend in the survey responses. I had 40.67% neuroticism, 75.34% extroversion, and 52% conscientiousness. So my results showed that I exhibited extroversion the most on a daily basis, followed by conscientiousness and then neuroticism. Additionally, when calculating my overall scores, I found that my percentage of neuroticism as a whole was 24%, extroversion was 44%, and conscientiousness was 30%. When comparing my results from the surveys to the Big 5 test, I found it fairly consistent, which I thought was interesting. My emotional stability was 66% compared to my neuroticism, which was 40%. My extroversion was 75% versus 67% from the Big 5 test. The only thing that wasn't completely consistent was conscientiousness, which was 18 on the Big 5 test and 52% on our test.
For conclusion, we learned 3 things. We were able to learn more about ourselves and how we portray the big in our daily lives. Second, we learned more about the Big 3 and how to perform a daily diary study. And lastly, we also learned that different tests concerning the Big 3 can have different results.
In terms of limitations, we had a short study duration as we only took the survey for 10 days. Therefore, there may not have been enough time to get accurate results. Also, the test questions may not have been specific enough to accurately measure how much each of us portray the Big 3 traits. Our scores could have also been influenced by external sources such as time of day and the environment in which we took the survey. Lastly, our survey was a self-report measure, and therefore our answers could have been biased.